Hello students. Have you ever taken leave from the school due to sickness? We all must have fallen sick some or the other time. So, have you ever noticed what happens when you become sick? We feel weak, right? Our body no longer wants to work and we only feel to just rest by lying on the bed. And none of us like to take those medicines, but we need to. Well, some well, sometimes we feel good even without taking any medicine, and sometimes we need to consult the doctor regularly for medicines in sickness. Well, have you ever thought why is it so? So, let's learn about our health and various diseases that might affect our health. So, in this video, we are going to start with the second chapter in science, that is health and disease. So, what is health? Well, health does not only mean that you are not having any disease. If a person is not having any disease, it is not necessary that a person is healthy. Well, health is a state of complete physical, mental and social well-being and not only the absence of any disease. So, a person is said to be healthy when a person is physically, mentally and socially fit. What is disease? Disease is the condition in which disturbance in physiological or psychological process of the body can take place. Any disturbance in the physiological or psychological process due to any reasons can cause disease. Also, each disease has its own specific symptoms. So, by identifying those particular symptoms, we can identify that a person is suffering from which type of disease. Now, children, we must have heard the names of many types of disease. We must have heard like about diabetes, common cold, asthma, Down syndrome, heart disease, and etc. All the disease have their own reason and symptoms. So, it is very important for us to study these different types of disease. Now, to understand the types of disease, we have divided them into the disease according to the duration and the disease according to the reasons. Let's study about the disease according to duration. Now, according to duration, we have two types of disease, chronic and acute. Chronic disease that lasts for a longer duration, that is more than 3 months or 6 months. So, chronic disease will be present for a very long time. Acute disease on the other hand lasts for a very short duration. For example, common cold, flu. You take medicines and you are cured. So those type of disease are called as acute disease, which are present for only short duration. According to reason, we have divided the disease into hereditary disease and acquired disease. Hereditary disease are the disease which are passed on from our previous generation, that is from our parents or grandparents. So the example for hereditary disease can be Down syndrome, sickle cell anemia and so on. Acquired disease are the disease which we acquire in our lifetime, and now acquired disease can again be infectious disease and non-infectious disease. Infectious disease which will cause infection to other person. If you sneeze, the person standing next to you can also get those germs. So these diseases are called as infectious disease. Non-infectious disease on the other hand remains only to yourself and it does not cause any infection to anyone. So infectious disease can be flu, dengue, and non-infectious disease can be diabetes, heart attack and so on. Now children, in this chapter, we are going to study two types of disease, that is infectious and non-infectious disease. Now, whenever a person spits in open area, that time the large droplets settle on the ground within few seconds, but the smaller droplets are vaporized into the air and in the form of fine mist. This mist remains in the air for several minutes to few hours. And if that mist or the few smaller droplets are containing any germs, through air there can be travel to the body of a next person and can also cause infection to that particular person. So if anyone around you tries to spit on the road or continuously spits on the road and you are seeing it, do try and explain them that it is very unhealthy and unhygienic, and especially in this type of condition, that is we are suffering from corona disease. So this time it is very important for us that no one spits in the open area. Infectious disease are the disease that spread through contaminated air, water, food, or even vectors like insects and animals. These type of disease are called as infectious disease. So the first disease that we are going to study is tuberculosis. Now, tuberculosis is commonly called as TB. The pathogen that causes tuberculosis is Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Now, how do we get this infection? So, this infection can be caused by the spitting of patient or through air. That is, these Mycobacterium tuberculosis can travel through air and can enter into a healthy person's body and can affect that person also. Or even when a healthy person is in regular contact with a tuberculosis patient, then also the healthy person have chances of getting tuberculosis. Now, what are the symptoms of tuberculosis? How do we come to know that a person is suffering from tuberculosis? Well, commonly a person can get cough, or there may be blood in the spit, or emaciation, that is continuous weight loss, that is also called as abnormal weight loss, or even difficulty in breathing can be caused. Now, how to prevent and how to treat this particular disease? So, if any person is having tuberculosis, it is important for that person to remain in isolation. He should not be in contact with the healthy person, or the person should not be just roaming around. Also, that person is given BCG vaccines. Now, BCG vaccines are given to all of us. We all have been given BCG vaccines, and a medication that is called as DOT, that is also given. Now, DOT stands for directly observed therapy. And in tuberculosis, especially the lungs of the person is affected. So that is the reason the person is having difficulty in breathing. Well, tuberculosis is very infectious, and a person suffering from tuberculosis should take utmost care of themselves. Our next disease is hepatitis or jaundice. Now, jaundice is the condition in which the skin or the sclera, that is the white of the eyes, and the mucous membrane turns yellow. This yellow color is due to the bile pigment, that is excessive bile pigment. Now, bile is a fluid secreted by the liver. This hepatitis is caused due to the pathogen, that is hepatitis virus A, B, C, D and E. Now, how do we get this disease, or what is the mode of infection? So, we get this disease due to contaminated water, or through sharing of needles, or even by blood transfusion. Now, what are the symptoms? So, a person suffers from anorexia. Now, anorexia is loss of appetite. A person doesn't feel like eating, and that is the reason a person becomes weak or excessive weight loss takes place. Then, the urine turns yellow, weakness is there in the body, person suffers from nausea, vomiting, etc. Now, how to prevent this disease? It's very simple. To drink boiled water and always clean your hands. Especially during rainy season, it is important for every one of us to drink boiled water. Next is dysentery. Now, dysentery can be caused due to bacteria or virus. Shigella, bacilli, or Entamoeba histolytica. Now, we get dysentery through contaminated food and water. That is, if you consume contaminated food and water, a person may suffer from dysentery. That is why it is said that not to consume food from roadside. Now, what are the symptoms of dysentery? That is watery stool and pain in the abdomen. Simply how we can prevent this disease? It is very simple: to drink boiled water, store the food properly, and in extreme cases, ORS is given. That is oral rehydration salts, which help to balance the salt level in our body, which is lost due to dysentery. Next disease is cholera. Now, cholera is caused due to a bacteria, that is Vibrio cholerae. Again, it is caused due to contaminated food and water. Now, in dysentery, a person suffers from vomiting, severe diarrhea, and even cramps in the legs. How to prevent it? Simply practice hygiene. Proper hygiene is very important. If we have to protect ourselves, it is very important for us to maintain hygiene. Also, please avoid eating food from outside or drinking outside water. A person should always consume boiled water, and even vaccination for cholera is available. Next disease is typhoid. Now, typhoid is caused due to a bacteria called as Salmonella typhi. Now, how do we get this disease? So, it is through contaminated food and water. Now, children, you all must have observed that most of the disease are caused due to contaminated food and water. So, it is very important for us to consume proper food and also drink clean water. What are the symptoms for typhoid? A person suffering from typhoid may suffer from anorexia, that is loss of appetite. A person doesn't feel to eat. Headache is there, rashes on the abdomen is there, dysentery is there. Now, this Salmonella typhi, it affects the digestive system, and that is the reason we have rashes on the abdomen and dysentery. And also, fever can rise up to 104 degree Fahrenheit. Now, how we can prevent this disease? We can prevent it by drinking clean water, maintaining proper hygiene. Disposal of sewage is also very important. Disposal of sewage plays a very important role in rural areas. Well, in urban areas, we have proper systems for disposal of sewage, and also taking proper vaccination on time. So, if you follow all these things, you can avoid such type of diseases. Many diseases spread through the dirtiness in our surrounding. In our surrounding, water can be logged in various materials, especially during rainy season, which then can lead to breeding of mosquitoes and spread many diseases. It can also cause a foul smell, which can lead to headaches and various other problems in humans and even animals. Let's learn few diseases of the present day. First is dengue. Now, we have all heard about dengue. Dengue is a mosquito-borne disease. That is, it can be spread to humans through mosquitoes. Now, all mosquitoes do not spread dengue. It is only transmitted through an infected species, the infected species of Aedes aegypti. So, if a particular mosquito of species Aedes aegypti is infected by the dengue virus, then only that particular mosquito spreads dengue. Now, the dengue virus, the name of this virus is Den-1,4 virus, and it belongs to the type flavivirus. So, the mosquito is affected by Den-1,4 virus, and that particular virus then gets transmitted into the human's body when that infected mosquito bites us. Now, what are the symptoms of dengue? So, if a person is suffering from dengue, then the person suffers from acute fever, headache, and vomiting. There is also pain in the eye socket and also decrease in platelets count. that may lead to internal hemorrhage. Now, internal hemorrhage is the bleeding inside the body, particularly in the chest cavity, stomach cavity, or muscles, that may be caused by major trauma. And internal hemorrhage sometimes can even lead to death. So, how can we prevent ourselves from dengue? For this, it is very important for us to maintain cleanliness in our surrounding and to destroy the breeding grounds of mosquitoes. Also, we must ensure to have a healthy lifestyle. Next is swine flu. Now, swine flu is a respiratory infection in humans. It was first recognized in 1919 pandemic. Swine flu is caused by H1N1 virus. It can spread through pigs and humans through airborne respiratory droplets, that is through coughing or sneezing, by touching a contaminated surface, through saliva, or by skin to skin contact. Now, the symptoms of swine flu include fever, cough, difficulty in breathing, sore throat, and even body pains. Next disease is AIDS. The full form of AIDS is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, or it is also caused by HIV, that is human immunodeficiency virus. Now, HIV causes AIDS and it interferes with the body's ability to fight infection. That is, the body's immune system gets badly damaged because of this virus. AIDS can be diagnosed through medical testing. ELISA test is used to diagnose AIDS. The virus can be transmitted through contact with infected blood or through reproductive fluids. Next is rabies. Now, rabies occurs due to the bite of infected dog, rabbit, monkey, cat, etc. The virus enters the brain via neurons. Now, a person suffering from rabies have an extreme fear of water. That is, they suffer from hydrophobia. It is also a fatal disease. That is, it can lead to even death of the person. Now, the disease can lead to death, but the death can be prevented by proper vaccination. Proper vaccination before the onset of symptoms are important. That is, before the symptoms starts to appear, if a person takes proper vaccination, then the fatality of this particular rabies disease can be prevented. Usually the symptoms of rabies start to appear within 90 to 175 days of a dog bite. Now, the symptoms of rabies include fear from water, that is hydrophobia. Dizziness is there, fatigue is there, high fever is there, loss of appetite is there, etc. These are all the symptoms of rabies. So students, these were the few infectious disease. And to prevent ourselves from any type of disease, it is very important for us to maintain a proper healthy lifestyle. In the next video, we will be studying about the non-infectious disease. Thank you for listening, children. Take care. Bye-bye.